What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things matter in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 82, and in this episode, let's talk about what 20th Century Fox has to offer. Deadpool, Gambit, Wolverine, X-Men Apocalypse, and of course, Fantastic Four reboots. Now, in a previous episode, I mentioned that there's a rumor going on that X-Men and Fantastic Four could possibly cross over in 2018. That's just a rumor. There's no confirmation as to if and when that is going to happen for sure. But if it does, that's going to be pretty awesome. Well, we got to talk a little bit more on that. We got to follow up on that because, and this is still a rumor, so take this with a grain of salt. 20th Century Fox wants Bryan Singer to direct Fantastic Four 2. Okay? That is eventually going to lead to the X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover in 2018. That sounds pretty awesome. Okay, now, if they were going to make an X-Men Fantastic Four crossover, I'm excited. But if they're going to get Bryan Singer to direct Fantastic Four 2, steer it in the direction where they can really seamlessly have that crossover happen, that can be pretty awesome. And the person to do it is, of course, Bryan Singer. He's the godfather of the X-Men franchise. Without Bryan Singer and what he brought to the table with the X-Men franchise, we wouldn't have any of this. We wouldn't have Deadpool, Gambit, Wolverine. Hell, we might not even have Fantastic Four. X-Men was the very, very first superhero team film which Bryan Singer created. He created that for us, and he was the stepping stone for all the other ones out there. All right? So, that is just a rumor that's going on right now. So, Josh Trank is, of course, bringing us Fantastic Four in August this summer. Okay? But apparently, the studios aren't quite pleased with the outcome, but they at least feel that, okay, this will be a decent step into a new direction for the franchise. Okay? It's decent, but not great. So I don't know where Josh Trank was heading with it, but apparently the production has been quite bumpy, and well, who knows? We'll find out in August, okay? But we are getting X-Men Apocalypse next year. That's directed by Bryan Singer, and I have a lot of faith in him. Of course, he gave us X-Men Days of Future Past, which I still to this date believe that, or feel that, is the best installment in the X-Men franchise. And I think that Apocalypse is going to be even better. And 20th Century Fox feels that way, so because of that, they want him, along with producer-writer Simon Kinberg, to work on Fantastic Four 2. And if they do that, I think it'll definitely be steered in the right direction. Alright? Whatever Josh Trank screwed up on, I don't even know if he screwed up at all, but whatever the studio say he screwed up on, Bryan Singer can fix. As he's done that with The Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine. He can do that. The studios know this. Okay? So, hopefully he takes a job, okay? Because I really want to see a good Fantastic Four film. All right, we haven't had one. The previous two they weren't just good at all. I mean, they were bad. Okay, they weren't great. Okay, and I think that Bryan Singer is the one to do that. Now, as for this crossover, as long as Bryan Singer really, he really does what he needs to do in Fantastic Four 2, and that is possibly by adding X-Men cameos, making enough X-Men references, and then putting those Easter eggs in there, which eventually lead us to that crossover film, then it can happen. Okay, it can happen, and it can happen in a very, very awesome way. And I think they need to do something like this. They need to do something like this because, well, Marvel Studios, they have their cinematic universe, and even X-Men, they don't actually quite have their cinematic universe yet. They have a bunch of, a bunch of stories that are disconnected from each other. The only one that's really connected is X-Men and the Wolverine films. Okay, Deadpool, Gambit, they're somewhere out there in the timeline, but they're still a bit disconnected. Fantastic Four is definitely disconnected until Bryan Singer does something about it. But originally, they didn't have plans to have them cross over. But now 20th Century Fox feels that, you know what, we might need to make this happen. Okay, and cinematic universes are the way to go. It might be a fad, but it is an ongoing trend with a lot of studios right now because it keeps the audience engaged from film to film to film. So right now we have Fantastic Four coming out in August of this year. Next year we will have X-Men Apocalypse in May 29, 2016, and then June 9th, 2017. The Fantastic Four sequel is scheduled to be released on that date. Hopefully it will be directed by Bryan Singer. And then on July 3rd, 2018, there is an untitled 20th Century Fox Marvel film that is locked in. Now that could be the X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover, or it could be the New Mutants film, which is supposed to be, which already has their director, but they don't have a date locked in. So it could be one or the other. It could be the New Mutants film, or it could be the X-Men / Fantastic Four crossover film. Hopefully it is that one, because that's what I want to see. I still want to see the New Mutants film, but I think that it would be a very, very awesome thing if we started seeing this cinematic universe come to life. All right, and they need guys like Simon Kinberg and Bryan Singer to make it happen, because they don't have their Kevin Feige. Okay, Kevin Feige is the godfather of course the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right now, even Warner Brothers does not have that. Zack Snyder is their Kevin Feige, which is something that he can't even completely manage because he's directing so many different films. He doesn't have time to oversee the production of all the other ones. And as for the 20th Century Fox Marvel Cinematic Universe, Bryan Singer and Simon Kinberg are really the only two out there that can really see this thing come together, as long as they're still on board. All right? So that's all I got to say in this video. Once again, this is all still a rumor, but we're just getting more updates as this is going along. So somewhere out there, someone in the industry is talking about this, and they're leaking it to the public. Okay? So this could very well happen, or if anything, Bryan Singer might turn it down. All right? But at the very least, I would like Simon Kinberg to take over that and then make it happen. Anyways, that's all I really have to say in this video. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts about this possible crossover, which could be pretty exciting. Okay? Anyways, once again, as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name's Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. In the cantina at Mos Eisley. So there's a lot to talk about. Now, the only rumor that I've ever heard about a young Han Solo is Aaron Paul